today we're gonna review the Nothing Phone 3A Pro. And the case is that if you're not part of the Nothing Phone ecosystem, there are kind of few things which are making it a little bit complicated, especially when you're buying a phone. So this is a 3A Pro, and there's also a 3A, which is slightly lower tier than the 3A Pro. And there is also their newest flagship, which is the Nothing Phone 3. And this is the most expensive one, okay? So we got it 3A, 3A Pro, and then 3, right? So we're getting A, Pro, yeah, there's a lot of connections there, but that's how they did it, and we have to roll with it. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know how it works. So 3A, it's kind of like a mid-tier, 3A Pro, it's slightly better, and the 3 is their flagship. Alright, so let's dig into it. So the 3A Pro, let's open the box and let's check it out. How does it exactly look like? So I wanted to do a full unboxing and a review for you so you can actually see. Alright, so this is a phone. Ooh, this looks decent. Okay, we'll grab a look at that in a second. What else we have in the box? So we have the USB-C to USB-C cable, which is decent, and obviously the pin for ejecting the actual SIM card. And there is not much else in the box, so they're going for a very minimalistic style. So obviously, let's look at the actual phone. Alright, wow, this looks cool. So there is a huge difference from the actual Nothing Phone 3A. Look at those lenses, Like this is thick. Like OMG. You can actually see it here. Like, wow, this is a pretty big thing. Like when you actually see it, even that camera, look how thick it is. So obviously it has 3 different cameras, and the phone itself is pretty decent. It looks very nice. So obviously we're having that Nothing kind of a design, which is having this, special thingy with the glyph, right? Which I'm also going to cover obviously in the video. And when it comes to display, this is a 6.77 AMOLED display with the Panda glass. It has 3000 nits brightness, so it should be pretty visible and pretty looking good in the daylight, which I think it's a pretty decent thing. When it comes to the refresh rate, it has a 120 Hz refresh rate, which I think it's okay. Like, I don't think many people actually use that high refresh so often. Like, everything above 90, I think it's okay. Regarding the processor of this phone, it has a Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, which is up to 2.5 GHz with 8 core, which it's definitely something which is in a mid-range, but like a higher mid-range. It's definitely cool for gaming or a daily usage. So when it comes to the storage and the memory, so this phone has 256 gig of storage. It actually comes in a gray or the black version, and it has also 12 gig of RAM, but you can boost it with the RAM booster up to 20 gig. That's actually pretty, decent. I think that's something which, yeah, it's definitely cool. So I definitely like the design. The only thing for me about this phone is that when you look at, the actual finish of this phone, like it has this matte kind of plastic around it, which is okay, but I'm not sure about this kind of a plastic right here. So this feels that it might scratch very, very easily, which I'm kind of like, do I like it? But it looks very decent. It looks very, very decent. So let's go into the cameras, because obviously that's something which we're most of the time most interested in. So when it comes to the main camera of this phone, can see it right here. The main camera has 50 megapixel resolution with focal length of 24 millimeters. It has autofocus and dual pixel PDAF. It also has the periscope camera with 50 megapixel and the ultra wide camera with 8 megapixel. On the front, we're having a 50 megapixel camera, which is a big bump comparing to the the Nothing Phone 3A, because the front camera also allows you to record in 4K, which, you know, I think it's a pretty cool thing, because especially for those of you who are maybe looking into a social media phone and you want a higher quality on that selfie, you know, then this is something which for me was very important. Obviously, we'll do a bit of a camera review at the end when I'm actually turned on that phone. So regarding the battery, this is something which I'm very positive about what Nothing Phone is doing, because it has a 5000 mAh battery. And I think this is a good standard. This is the standard which I always talk about, that it should be, I think, everywhere. And, you know, this is something which, you know, actually lasts for, they say it's a 2-day battery. So yeah, that's a cool bump, especially that, you know, most of my phones don't last a day of my usage. So I will test out how this will last, but 5000 is definitely something which, you know, I do enjoy. When it comes to the charging, it has a 50 watts capability of charging and 15 watts reverse charging, so you can charge back something. It doesn't have a wireless charging. Obviously, it has a 5G connectivity and it supports NFC, so kind of the basics. So let's actually turn it on and let's see. So regarding the software, this phone runs the Android 15, and obviously we'll cover the Glyph as well, which is right here, and the Essential Space. So as you can see, this is the actual feel of the phone. It's pretty decent, obviously pretty fast. With the Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, it will be decent phone. Like, you'll feel that it's pretty fast, it's pretty great daily usage. And obviously we have the, if you've never used a Nothing Phone, obviously you have the volume buttons right here, but on the other side, you have the extra button, which is called the Essential Space. And what Essential Space is doing, if you know, tap on it once, you'll grab a screenshot of what you're doing, and then you can write a note and add it to that Essential Space, which I'm gonna kind of tell you what's it about in a second. But when you tap and hold, you can actually record a voice message or a voice note to it, and then what it'll do, it'll transcribe it and connect it to that Essential Space. Okay, so within the Essential Space, it just did the transcription for me while recording that. You can put screenshots of the things you want to remember. So it's literally like your space to write down things, remember. And I know that, you know, at some point it will connect with AI and actually create tasks for you. So that's kind of the direction they said that they want to go. You can add collections to organize it better. So I think in a modern world, having a place that allows you to organize all your notes, thoughts, like, I think it's definitely good direction, because we're kind of bumped and attacked by all the information around everywhere. So this is kind of a thing which I do like, and I think this is something which, you know, they're doing pretty cool. Coming back to the phone, so the main thing about the phone is that if you go to settings and you actually go to the Glyph interface, this is something which is, you know, making it totally different. So when you turn on the Glyph light, if someone calls this phone, this will actually go. You can also have the flip to Glyph, so this will actually put like a quiet mode, so thanks to you're not getting those notification distraction on your phone, but actually just a Glyph. So it is decent, because I think they're, you know, pushing the kind of focus on making it phones distraction less, because their phones are already distracting us so much. You can also set the Glyph timer. Look at that, we're gonna set it quickly, 30 seconds. So boom, and now I just need to put the phone face down and it'll start to go. And you can see immediately that it's kind of going with the light down, which is pretty cool. Maybe here will be also a bit more visible. Nice. So as you can see, it's kind of dropping the light down on the Glyph. So that's a pretty cool feature, because obviously, like, with the new Glyph of the Phone 3, it's totally different. This one still kind of has the light, doesn't have so many capabilities as Nothing Phone 3. But I think that's cool, you know? I think that's just a thing which is, you know, making it very nice, very easy to use, and kind of very you know, distraction less, because thanks to you don't have to always look at those things. And obviously there's like a volume indicator as well, which you can use for, you know, putting this. So for example, if you also want to see what's your volume, you can just use this, and now you're controlling the Glyph as well. Boom, look at that, you see? So that's, I think, is a very cool thing about the Nothing phone and the Nothing OS. So obviously, as I mentioned, it's running Android 15, but it has their own Nothing OS. So this is something which is, yeah, definitely different. And obviously you can put that RAM booster as well. So yeah, what I think about this phone, I think it's very decent. So let's test out the photos as well, and we'll do just basic games as well. All right, so when it comes to the photos, we'll start with the Photo 1X. That is a very decent one. 2, which is using already that 50mm 2x. 3. Ooh, this is nice. And ×6 zoom. Okay, that's actually decent. That is a very decent quality. And then wide angle. Okay, wide angle is not that great, but it's cool. I wouldn't say it's bad. So let's check out the video. So 1x. Yeah, it is nice. 3 times. Ooh, oh wow, this is so cool. Okay, that's a very decent quality, you know. I can see it's trying to refocus different things, but that's pretty awesome. And 0.6, yeah, 0.6 is not that great. Alright, so now let's look into the portrait mode as well. So portrait mode, let's go on the 1x first. Okay, that's alright. 2, decent. So I can see it's slightly blurring at the background, at least it's trying it. 3. Okay, nice one. And 4. Okay, that is cool. There's also this macro, so using this telephoto lens to capture better details. So let's check it out. Move further away. Okay, that's nice. And ×6. Ooh, okay, this is a very detailed macro. Oh wow, this is nice. Look at that. Another 6x. Ooh, this is good. This is very good. I like it. I'm so positively impressed by it. So it also has a night mode. And obviously let's test out the photo for the selfies. So this is the selfie. So I can see I can choose 1.2 or 24mm. So this is 24mm, and then 29mm, which is 1.2x. That is decent. So let's test out the video as well. So video 1080p, pretty cool, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. Yeah, it is nice as well. So now, can I go higher? Yes, as I mentioned, it was a 4K, 30 frames per second. It is cool. It is a very decent quality. I do like it. I very much like it, actually. Nice one. And that will be it, because it doesn't support 4K 60 frames per second. So yeah, this is it. So when it comes to the video on the front, that's sorry, on the back. So obviously if you go 4K, there is a 4K of 30 frames per second, which is decent, with 3 times zoom. Very good quality, very good quality. I very much like it. And we can also go, as I mentioned, both of those don't have the 60 frames per second. So this makes sense. Like, not many phones actually support 60 frames per second with 4K. So I think that's, you know, already kind of decent. Having the 4K on the front camera, on the selfie camera, I think that's a big plus. So yeah, one more thing, it's obviously the portrait mode, and I'm gonna go for the selfie portrait mode. Let's check it out. So I can see it is blurring the background nicely. Yeah, it is nice. I do appreciate that. So if you go to more, we can see that we have a slow-mo, time-lapse, panorama, and the export mode as well. So export mode allows you to kind of set up all the things by yourself, which is, you know, I think decent. Alright, so this is the camera. So let's look into the gaming, right? Because obviously, like, lots of you are gaming, so let's try it out. Alright, so let's test it out, the PUBG. So I turned on the refresh rate, so I can see that currently it's 90, and it's actually holding on 90. So yeah, the actual feeling of the game is decent. Like, it's reacting very, very good. So I've set on the settings, which is the better graphics on the HDR. So that is actually decent. Alright, so the gameplay, it's actually pretty nice. Like, I would say that it's decent. Like, it looks, you know, nothing is actually laggy or anything like that. It is decent, you know. I like it, I do like it. I think it's pretty cool, you know. Yeah, it's like nothing is laggy. The phone, it's slightly warmer, but nothing, you know, too kind of too warm. So yeah, I think it's actually holding very nice. So yeah, my overall feeling of PUBG is decent, definitely kind of gameable, and like it is a pleasurable experience. Okay, so quickly testing the Asphalt Legend. I can see on Asphalt Legend there is a 60 refresh rate, not 90. So I think the game is not optimized for higher one, but you know, it is alright. Okay, the actual feeling, it's nice. It's not dropping below that, so that's decent, you know. Yeah. No, the actual kind of game, it's decent. Yeah, it works nice. Alright, so this is pretty cool. And immediately I can see that, you know, that popped to 120 refresh rate right after I left the game. So my general feeling of this phone, I think it's decent. I think it's much better than the 3A. And for me, this is definitely a good quality to kind of have it comparing to the, you know, Nothing Phone 3. Especially that this is a much more, I would say, better price. So when it comes to this phone, it costs £449 and it comes with the gray color or the black one with this 12 gig of RAM with booster to 20 and 256 gig. I think it's a decent price mark for this phone. So yeah, I think that's something which, you know, it is definitely worth it looking into, and I would prefer to choose this versus the Nothing Phone 3. I don't see paying additional £300 for the kind of features that it's having, as this is just a great phone for a daily usage, great kind of photos and even gaming. This is it from me. I hope you like my video. If yes, you know what to do. Just hit that like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Take care.
MadTechTalk, tech so fly. Breaking down gear, let's amplify. Sub like, don't miss a thing. Tech reviews with a little bling. We out for now, but stay tuned. More fire tech is dropping soon.